Drake Passage stretches roughly 800 kilometers between Cape Horn at the southern tip of South America and the northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula. On a map, it looks like a straightforward shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, but in reality, it is one of the most unpredictable and dangerous waterways in the world. While shipping companies might see it as a convenient route, sailors know that its short distance is the least of their concerns. Powerful storms, massive waves, strong currents, and ice hazards all combine to create conditions that push both ships and crews to their absolute limits. This passage has claimed countless vessels, thwarted explorers, and tested humanity's understanding of the oceans for centuries. Today we're diving into every factor that makes the Drake Passage so deadly, ships refuse to pass through. The Drake Passage connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, forming a natural gateway around the southern tip of South America. While it may appear as a convenient shortcut, it is far from simple. Unlike the Panama Canal, which offers a controlled passage between oceans, the Drake Passage is an open stretch of ocean with no protection from the elements. Its narrow geography funnels massive volumes of water, creating concentrated currents that interact unpredictably with winds and tides. Beneath the surface, the ocean floor is uneven, with ridges, trenches, and underwater formations that create turbulence invisible to the naked eye. Ships must navigate both the surface and what lies beneath, all while battling nature's most extreme elements. Because of this geography, the Drake Passage experiences some of the fastest currents on the planet. This makes steering a massive ship a constant challenge, requiring split-second adjustments to prevent drifting into dangerous areas. Even a slight miscalculation can result in collisions with hidden obstacles or catastrophic stress on the ship's hull. Historically, explorers like Ferdinand Magellan and Sir Francis Drake had no way to predict or control these forces. Even today, despite advanced navigation tools, captains often delay or abandon crossings due to the combination of oceanic and atmospheric threats. Another geographical challenge is the sheer openness of the region. With no landmasses nearby to break up the winds or waves, the Drake Passage becomes a corridor where weather systems from the Pacific, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans collide head-on. This convergence zone acts like a blender, amplifying even minor atmospheric disturbances into massive storms. Sailors often describe the area as a place where the ocean behaves differently, where waves have more power, winds have more bite, and the margin for error shrinks dramatically. The constant motion of water through this narrow gateway also creates underwater pressure differences that can suck vessels off their intended course without warning. Even modern research vessels and ice-strengthened ships frequently report unexpected lurches or sudden depth changes beneath them, proving that the geography of the Drake Passage remains a living, shifting force that no one truly controls. One of the most immediate dangers in the Drake Passage is the weather. Storms can appear without warning, with hurricane-force winds that reach over 100 kilometers per hour. Waves can tower above 12 meters, tossing ships like toys and making navigation nearly impossible. The sea appears as a boiling cauldron, with whitecaps colliding, creating spray and turbulence that can engulf a vessel in seconds. These storms are not seasonal. They can occur year-round, making the Drake Passage unpredictable for every journey. Even with satellite forecasts and weather alerts, conditions can change rapidly, forcing captains to constantly adjust course, speed, and strategy. Visibility is often near zero during these storms, as wind and rain combine with snow and fog in colder months. It is not uncommon for seasoned crews to face several hours of near-complete darkness, unable to see beyond a few meters, while giant waves crash against the ship from all sides. Beyond the physical threat, extreme weather places a psychological burden on crews. The constant noise of waves slamming against the hull, the spray of icy seawater, and the rocking of the ship can cause fatigue, disorientation, and stress. Even experienced sailors must remain hyper-alert, as one misjudgment could lead to disaster. Historical accounts from expeditions reveal ships narrowly escaping capsizing, with sailors clinging to rails and lifelines for hours at a time. Modern vessels are stronger and more technologically equipped, but the Drake Passage remains a place where nature dictates the rules, and humans must constantly adapt or risk catastrophe. What makes the Drake Passage even more dangerous is the speed with which weather systems move. A captain may begin the day under calm blue skies, only to find themselves trapped in a violent storm just an hour later. This rapid escalation leaves little time for preparation. And if cargo or equipment is not secured, it can shift violently, destabilizing the vessel. Some storms are so vast that ships cannot outrun them. The only option is to face the waves head-on. Sailors often describe the sensation as climbing a steep mountain of water, only to plunge down the other side with bone-shaking speed. In colder months, temperatures drop below freezing, coating railings, decks, and ropes with ice. This added weight can threaten a ship's stability, forcing crews to chip away at the ice mid-storm to prevent capsizing. The combination of freezing temperatures, violent winds, and relentless waves turns the Drake Passage into a battleground where survival is never guaranteed. The Antarctic Circumpolar Current, ACC, is the dominant current in the Drake Passage and the strongest in the world. It moves vast quantities of water eastward, linking the Pacific, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans. Speeds can exceed 2 meters per second, which may not sound fast, but when a massive ship meets this force in rough seas, it is a significant hazard. These currents interact with wind, tides, and underwater topography to create chaotic water conditions. Massive whirlpools and eddies can appear suddenly, destabilizing ships and making steering a near impossible task. Currents can push vessels off course, sometimes dangerously close to rocks, icebergs, or shallow ridges. The ACC also contributes to enormous mixing of cold Antarctic waters with relatively warmer currents from the north. This temperature difference fuels storm formation and increases the severity of waves. Scientists studying this phenomenon have noted that the combination of strong winds, turbulent currents, and temperature gradients makes the Drake Passage a unique and deadly oceanic system. Understanding and predicting these currents requires advanced oceanographic knowledge and real-time monitoring. Despite these tools, the passage remains risky. Captains know that even the best technology cannot fully neutralize nature's power here. Icebergs in the Drake Passage pose another constant threat. Unlike the Arctic, where ice can be relatively stable, Antarctic icebergs drift unpredictably, sometimes appearing in areas marked as clear. Large icebergs can be spotted from a distance, but smaller fragments, known as growlers, are nearly invisible and just as deadly. Collisions with ice can cause catastrophic damage. Even modern reinforced hulls may suffer structural stress or punctures. Historical records show that cargo ships and research vessels have lost equipment, containers, or even entire lifeboats after ice strikes. Floating debris is another hazard. Strong currents sweep wreckage from previous storms, fishing equipment, and other maritime litter into the passage. In rough seas, these objects can become invisible projectiles capable of damaging propellers or piercing the hull. Navigating these hazards requires extreme caution, constant radar monitoring, and precise maneuvering. Crews must make split-second decisions to avoid these dangers, often at the expense of speed and schedule. The unpredictability of ice and debris adds yet another layer of complexity, reinforcing why many ships refuse to attempt the crossing unless absolutely necessary. What makes growlers particularly terrifying is their silence. A full-sized iceberg groans, cracks, and fractures loudly. But a growler is quiet, drifting without sound until impact. Many maritime accidents in Antarctic waters have been attributed to these invisible killers. Another threat comes from calving events, when massive chunks of ice break off from glaciers and crash into the sea. These events can generate sudden waves that travel far beyond the detachment site, catching vessels off guard. Even scientific vessels equipped with sonar and ice detection technology admit that the Drake Passage is one of the few places on Earth where ice can still successfully ambush a ship. The Drake Passage is as much a test of human endurance as it is a challenge for ships. Crew members must withstand constant motion, cold, noise, and the psychological pressure of knowing that one mistake could lead to disaster. Fatigue sets in quickly, impairing judgment and reflexes. Navigating through extreme waves, heavy winds, and ice requires intense concentration. Even automated systems cannot replace human decision-making in emergencies. For long crossings, sleep deprivation becomes a serious risk, affecting reaction times and increasing the likelihood of accidents. Beyond physical strain, the psychological impact is profound. The isolation, relentless noise, and violent motion can induce fear, stress, and anxiety. Crews must work as a coordinated team, trusting each other implicitly to survive. This human factor often determines whether a ship can successfully complete the passage or must turn back. The Drake Passage has a storied history of near misses and disasters. Explorers in the 19th century often underestimated the power of these waters, with ships capsizing or being lost entirely. Even in modern times, research vessels have had to abandon missions due to violent storms. One famous case involved a cargo ship in the early 2000s that attempted the crossing with a full load. Within hours, waves over 10 meters tall caused containers to topple, water to flood decks, and the crew to fight for survival. Fortunately, they escaped, but the ship sustained severe damage, delaying schedules and causing financial loss. These stories highlight why shipping companies are cautious. It's not a lack of skill or technology, it's a recognition that the Drake Passage is an environment where nature's power cannot be ignored. Many old books describe the Drake Passage as the place where ships go to die. While that may sound dramatic, the number of vessels lost in these waters is significantly higher than most other major maritime routes. During the age of wooden sailing ships, captains dreaded this crossing more than any other. Some crews reportedly refused to board vessels bound for the Drake Passage, believing it to be cursed. Even modern cruise ships, heavily reinforced and equipped with advanced stabilizers, often warn passengers days in advance. Some voyages are canceled entirely if forecasts show even a moderate risk. The fact that 21st century technology still bows to the Drake Passage says everything. If this journey through one of the planet's most dangerous waterways fascinated you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories from the edge of the Earth. Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you dare to cross the Drake Passage if given the chance? For more videos that like and subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. And share this with friends who love the thrill of the oceans, the courage of explorers, and the raw power of nature.